To another episode of Aurogiri. So today is Saturday, March 4th, I believe. Let me just double check. Yeah, March 4th. So we had an update maintenance Thursday night into Friday. Friday was the day of the update. I had to work Friday, so there was really no video from me explaining it. As most of you are probably aware by now, Gakuhou Purg has returned. We went a good 2 weeks during the chocolate event with just grapes, chocolates, and no purgatory since Cursect. A much welcome break, if you ask me. I've been playing lots of other games in that time. Very, very much enjoying myself. Cursect was such a slog of a grind. We did the math. It's to make that weapon's about half the price of an Abyss Purg if you were running it for leaves and spirits optimally. Very, very, very annoying. I've yet to even make the weapon myself. You just logged off? Oh, nice to see you. Yeah, I just got done doing some chores and stuff. So, yeah, so Gakuhou Purg is back. And it's not the first time. I think it's like maybe the third or fourth time it's been back. You haven't played this game in a long time? Hey, Ronan, how you been? How's it going? It's going pretty good. Pretty chill day. I have a short weekend because my days change over from work. So I only have Saturday off this week, which kind of sucks. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm doing all right besides that. As many people speculated, because of typings and element, Akechi completely destroys Gakuhou this time around. Like you can see a lot of people going around with Akechi during this event. Akechi absolutely destroys. I played a couple of games last night, a couple hours of Gakuhou, and I was using Sugamo, and Sugamo's still really good, but Akechi does 3 times the damage of what Sugamo can put out, which is insane, considering just the nature of premium Vanguards and power creep. Me, myself, I've gotten 2 copies of Akechi. It was abysmal trying to roll for her. I'm going to save up your Rozus and scraps. I'll get her when I get her. But she does devastating damage, like 20 mils a hit. She's got skills that fire off like 4 or 5 hits at a time, so 100 mil, 100 mil, 100 mil. Like it's just a shit ton of damage. Like I've seen Gakuhou going down like it was fucking Osame. It was quite ridiculous. Like you'd go in, fill up with a bow, and Gakuhou on average was going down in like a minute 30, 2 minutes on the high note. It was quite impressive. I think we had 2 Akechis, 2 Sugamos, or a KG or whatever. Last time Gakuhou was here, we had a team of just fire KGs, and we would do that in like a minute or... We would do that in like 2 to 3 minutes, and it was still good runs back then. So that's how that goes. For those unfamiliar with Purgs, the Purgs are events that come out every, usually once a month, and they last about 2 weeks. The main goal of it is to get stuff from the exchange shop from the Purg, generally the Ogi for 1,000 treasures, which is a very powerful Ogi. It's the Gakuhou Tornado Horyu Wind 7. It's Mountain and Wind, and I believe your physical element, so it's Spear and Bow, it's Pierce, on Sword, Axe, Odachi, Twin, it's Slice, and then on Staff and Wand, it's Impact. So that, a lot of people just go in and get that. It's pretty much free to play. You just have to have the equivalent of 12 full restores or 120 OC about worth of hell runs, and you can get yourself an Ogi. So if you can tag along with some people or just play with your friends, whatever, it's pretty effective way to get some powerful Oogis. Personally, I consider those Oogis to be Sublime level, and they are very, very powerful for the most part. The Purgatory Oogis all around are just Sublime level skills that if you can get the runs in, you can get them for free, essentially. If you just log in every day, save your OC, save 120 OC at all times. When a Purg runs around, you get that Ogi. We're talking like Abyssal Embrace, the Dragon Arc Ogis, Dullahan Ogi. Cursec Sprint's actually really strong too, has iframes. All those skills are just fantastic. So just partially joining in on Purg really does benefit a player of every skill level. So on average, a Purg weapons are level 133 to 135. Some people do use the axe, the executioner's scythe ornamentation to let the level 130s wield it. If you use that ornamentation, I've never really bothered with it. I'd rather just level up and not deal with it and use your mags to their full potential. So Horyu Wind, to make this weapon, any of the Dragon Arc weapons, you're going to need your Dragon Arc, your Zenith, in this case, at level 100 for your class, and then every other Zenith, the 7 other ones, at plus 50. So the best way to get those is to run Purg on hard and normal, just to make sure you get all the drops really, really easy, because the rewards, when you clear them, they're going to give you way more than running Reward Up or regular Dragon Arcs. If you ever run regular Dragon Arc looking for jewels, you want to, like, end your controller. You just like, this drop rate sucks. But on Purg, you get, like, you'll get your jewels like nobody's business. You'll have so much of this stuff you'll never complain again. So yeah, you need all 8 Dragon Arc weapons, 7 of them at 50 and yours at 100. Then you need 500 of the normal drop, 300 of the hard drop, and 70 of the hell drop. I think I did pretty good. My first hour I got like 2 emeralds, and then my second and third I got like 6. I don't know where they all came from, but I had like 2 when I started, so I got 12, which isn't bad. But I need to get all of them. I didn't think I had to play this Purg, but I looked at my inventory, and I have 3 of the baby mags, so that means I can make the mag this update cycle, because the mags from the exchange shop are really hard to get if you don't get them from rewards. To make the mag, you need 3 of the normal version mag, 2 of the hard version mag, and 1 of the hell version mag. And you can only get 1 per update unless you get lucky with rewards from their respective difficulties. So, since I've played Gakuhou, this is probably my 3rd time with Gakuhou, I've gotten 3 baby mags. I just got to get a hard mag and the recipe and all the drops, and I can make the mag this update cycle, if I can. Which would be nice. Wind and Mountain Mag is very, very, very powerful. It synergizes with KG. Giving KG damage multipliers is ridiculous. So that's really good. And it synergizes with Horse Mags. So you could have like 2 Revolutions, or a Revolution Mag and like 2 Horse Mags, and you'd be popping off with Wind and Mountain. Absolutely. And it synergizes with the weapon as well. When Tencho was here, I made the Tencho Mag, and although it does eat up your SP consumption, it was very, very powerful. Very powerful tool, indeed. So, yeah. And after Cursect, I'm really glad to see a recipe that's just make all the weapons and get all the drops. Because Cursect is like, do all this and then, like, farm 1,000 Lunar Leaves. It was not pretty at all. You're surprised I'm going to do Gakuhou Purg? I'm surprised too. Because I'm not going to make a second weapon. I don't see a need for it. So yeah, I mentioned quality of life. You brought that up. So the quality of life stuff, right now we only got a taste of it, but I posted an update post on the channel, a community post, and it was stating what's happening on JP and Steam right now. Like, they're getting a UI update to Vanguard menus, which we wanted for years. I can't say I agree with their execution 100%. I think they went a little too far, but we'll get into that in a second. So right now, one thing you might have noticed when you go to the Achievements tab, this is not the Achievements tab, we do have a new login calendar. I think it's the same one as before. People are saying you get an extra 5 OC a day, so that's pretty good. I hadn't been noticing. But if you go to the achievements, you might have noticed there's an E on like every single achievement. You're like, what the hell is this E? What is this? So I've deduced that the E is on these achievements, but if you go to the dailies, the E is only on half the achievements. If you haven't figured it out, the E stands for event. So this will help newer players, if they understand what E means, to differentiate between what achievements are event achievements and which ones aren't. Funny enough, we have a whole tab that's called event, and everything that's an event achievement is already there. So, yeah, but it's basically to differentiate between daily complete E event and regular daily complete because they have the same name and it confuses people. So Cyberstep took it upon themselves for every achievement that is from an event, they put an E on it. So that's nice. It's the little things that matter. I guess I logged in 6 times this week. Let's receive that. Yeah, it is a new month, by the way, so make sure you're logging in every day. Make sure you're buying your item from Morocco every day. Make sure you're identifying a weapon every day. And make sure you're running at least one dungeon every day. It doesn't matter what dungeon. If you're only going to run one thing, I encourage you to use your energy. I just run stone dungeons sometimes. I run skill card dungeons. Whatever's on reward up, glacies, it doesn't really matter. Right, it's to differentiate between if it's an event achievement or a regular achievement. So the other quality of life achievement, or not achievement, but update that's coming that's already on PC is a change to the partners menu, which we've wanted for years. I can't tell you how many videos where we've brought up this topic came up, and I've always said, I wish I could just favorite my vanguards or pin to top, because that way, like, you could choose, like, you know, every time we go to this menu, it starts the same way. It's Venus, Siegfried, Valkyrie, Azura, Kirin, Orihime, Miyamoto, Dark Miyamoto, Lil Musa, and it just keeps going and going and going. And if I'm looking for KG or Honda, you know, like 2 top tier vanguards, I got to go really, really low just to get KG, and then I got to go even lower to reach Honda. You want to use Ayasu, lower, Akechi, lower. Like, and more often than not, the better vanguards, the newer ones, the stronger power creep vanguards are at the bottom of your list, like Genbu, Wolf King, Wildcat, Lunastasia, need I say more. And if your vanguard dies in dungeon and you want to bring them back, you have to like open up your menu and hopefully scroll through everything you've ever accumulated to reach what you're looking for. But however, with the new system that Cyberstep's imposing is that every vanguard is just going to be displayed by this little picture on the left, like their little icon that they have. It's just going to display that. It's not going to show their name anymore. You'll only see their name if you click on them, and it'll show up on the side, and it will say the character's name here, their title, their level. So this is kind of the downside with what's coming, is that you won't be able to see the vanguard. I don't think you'll be able to see a vanguard's level inherently, because like, you know, this is a problem for like newer players that like if they just do a big summoning session, rolling session, and they get like a scroll of Sugamo, they get like a scroll of I don't know, Shingen, Kenshin, etc., and they don't really know what's what. They're gonna be like, oh, I summoned Kenshin. Oh, she's level 1. Shit, I didn't know that. And you have 2 Lancelots, and it's like, oh, which Lancelot is the one I want? I can't remember the picture. Is it this one? Is it that one? Like, which Oda is it? Like, I mean, you should be able to tell the Odas apart. But you can't tell the Izunas apart at all. If you wanted to summon Tri-Tail and you ended up summoning Izuna, that's one of the big problems. Someone said that the eyes are different, but a quick glance, if your Vanguard dies, you're trying to resummon them with a prayer crystal, you won't even know if they're dead. Because you're not going to see their bar until you actually click on them. And that doesn't even show the bar, actually. Like, in the new system they're proposing, I do not believe that you're going to see how much health the character has remaining, which could be problematic. So, while I agree that they should have put the little favorite icon so you can choose who's at the top of your list, who's not at the top of your list, I don't think they should have made this grid thing. Because what they're proposing, or what they're doing, is like you would have Genai's picture here, and then in the box next to it, you would have Izuna's picture. And then in the next box, you would have another Izuna's picture, based on the layout. So it's going to end up being like Genai, Izuna, Izuna. Right. And they do this so that they can condense the list. So it'll be like a 3 by 3 by 3. So in 3 slots, you would see 9 Vanguards, 12, 15, etc., etc. And you would just go by pictures. And every single one of them is going to have this little star icon that's either going to be golden or black to demonstrate whether the character's favorited or not. And I'm really hoping that like favoriting them brings them to the top, because if I were to choose like my go-to vanguards that I want at the top, and we gotta hope that it goes in the order you click it, and not just like, if I favorited all my vanguards, is it going to be the exact same list? Like, you know, like if let's say for example, I prefer Kirin over Valkyrie, but I still like Valkyrie, but I want Kirin at the top. Like, if I click Kirin first, and then favorite Valkyrie. Is it going to put Kieran on top of Valkyrie, or is it going to put Valkyrie ahead of Kieran because they have like a chronological order index that puts them in the number order that they go? Like they have an ID that makes this list. It's not random every time. It's set in stone. It's not based on the order in which you unlock the characters, because there are some people that have Azura, and then later they get Venus, and Venus goes on top. And we know that for a fact because we had many Vanguards, like trying to find one, for example, like Lancelot. We had Lancelot, and then an event came out later that gave us Lil Musashi, but because she's considered a Musashi, she goes up higher, and it gets harder and harder to reach her characters. So hopefully it's going to just let you favorite the characters you want in order that you want them. But, you know, hopefully it really helps. Hopefully it's where I'm not being as critical as I am. It's just that you do not see their health bar. Like, I don't think you're going to see their bar. It's going to be like the Divine Possessions where you do not see their bar. You just see their face. Personally for me, if I had to pick like 5 Vanguards, like let's say like it was as is and you only saw 5 at a time. If I were to pick 5 that I would just have on demand, my Vanguards on demand, it would be like KG, Honda. Now it goes all downhill. It would be like KG and Honda for sure. I'd want them at the top because they're like my best Vanguards. I would want them like quick access to them. KG, Honda, probably Shizuka, to be honest. Battle Maiden's really, really strong. Like, I would try to have at least, like, my best Vanguard of a certain element favorited, in a way. KG, Honda, Battle Maiden. If I had a catchy 5 scrolled, I'd have her up there as well. Gembu, I would have Gembu up there because I use her for farming. She's a really good Rain Vanguard. And then probably Shikibu, I guess. That would be like my top. That would be like my 5. But now you're going to be able to see like 15 of your best Vanguards if you organize this correctly, which is going to help put the chaff, or the ones you don't have a lot of scrolls for, near the bottom, which hopefully is going to help out most of us. But like people said, like it's for people that have 50 Vanguards. There's 70 Vanguards in the game, and you know, you're not going to see all. You know, it's kind of hard to dig through them every single time. And I don't know if this is happening for the mounts as well. If it is, I don't know why. Like, if they do it for the mounts, they shouldn't do it to where... Like, it's weird. The mounts have this thing where you can link their experience to you. Like, I don't think they're going to do it for the mounts because they have that little button to link unless they do it differently. But there's not enough mounts to really warrant splitting them into 3. Like, there's what? The surfboard, the Life Preserver, you have Leviathan, Brownie, Mikami, then you have Hound Dog, 6, Raijin at 7, Fujin at 8, and in Ifrit at 9, and then you have Mighty Bine at 10. Like, you wouldn't actually be able to fit all of them on the layout if they split it into 5. I wouldn't be surprised if they leave mounts alone, but give them the favorite feature, because that's all they need for the mounts. Personally, I think they should have left the things as they were, just added the favorite thing. Because there's a big difference between scrolling through 50 and scrolling through like 5 or 6 or 8. Realistically, there's 8 elements. You're going to want to use 8 Vanguards, maybe 10. You know, that's pretty much how it should go. And even more so for assists, unless they want to just roll out like a bunch more characters. I would just have like Aoi and Satan at the top. Some people use Lucifer, like that's what they would put at the top, and that'd be it. Whoever they have, like that's it. It's not that big a deal for them. Like, if they do that for the guest tab, it's going to be an absolute joke. Because, like, at most, you'd have Zunko, Akane, Summer Akane, and then Itako. And I don't think there's much else besides that. I can't think of it. And then the regular partners, they shouldn't do it, because that's going to confuse new players. I hope they only do it for the special tab. honestly. But that's the quality of life thing that's coming. So they have like the E thing for everything in the list, and then they have that new sorting and ordering, which we've been, you know, wanting for years. Absolutely. Oh, I gotta make sure I identify my weapon of the day. I always just identify a cudgel. It'll be the end of me one day, but it's the only thing worth identifying. I really wish that the challenge wouldn't have been identify and that it would have been like repair a weapon, because I could do that. I could repair a weapon. I could use invigorate or meditation and just repair. Like, and that would be the challenge. Because identifying is going to add so much clutter. It really, really is. So the next thing, part of this update, I did a review of it earlier, but they added new Sublimes. For those unfamiliar, there's new Sublimes added, 8 new ones. We still have all the old Valentine stuff that's still up until the end of Purg, so if you still want that stuff, it's there for you. So I did do a review video of my first impression of all these Sublimes. I'm not going to go too much in depth on them, but if you want to watch that, that does exist. If you want to watch that after the stream. But I can give you my abridged results here. So Sword got a new Sublime. It's a Fire Sublime. It's a Fire Tornado. Hits right in front of you. It's 8 hits. Very, very, very powerful. One of the best ones in the entire set they delivered. Odachi and Axe had got Icicle Moonlight Sublime. And it's very much like Icicle Moonlight already hit like 5 times and hit like a truck. This move is like a 2-hit Icicle Moonlight that hits 7 times. I don't know how much of a need it is. I know Lyra got it recently. He'll have to tell me his impressions of it. I know for certain, like, a lot of people are like, oh, a new Ice Sublime. Is it better than Icicle Punishment? I don't know. Does it give you iframes? No. Okay, then they're going to use Icicle Punishment. It's like the eternal debate where it's like we were given literally a gift from the gods and anything else just pales in comparison. Unless you want to have 2 Okies on it. But yeah, it's a 7-hit narrow attack that has quite a long range on it. Its range might be one of its saving graces. It's pretty good. Spear got Earth Upending Spear Sublime. I'm not a fan. I'm not going to get it. Basically, as a spear player, you would use the startup animation of twirling your spear like Revolving Blast. It's basically a Revolving Blast that hits 5 times in the same exact function. So you spin your spear for like a second and a half, and then you let it go, and then 5 Earth Spikes come out of the ground where the enemy is at range, and it hits them 5 times. At most, you're going to see, if the move was able to cap 5 times, you're going to see 50 million, and it's going to take like 2-3 seconds to put out, whereas you have other moves like Boulder Breaker Sublime that hits 10 times in a fraction of the time, that I much prefer. Personally, I prefer the Gakuhou Ogi to this. They pretty much both necessitate the exact same range in question, and I have no need for Earth Upending Spear personally. Because of the Gakuhou Ogi being out there, and it's here right now, I have no need to get this. I just get another Gakuhou Ogi. Twin Sword got Oogie Vortex Formation. It's a very good attack. It's pretty much instantaneous. In my mind, this is the Twin Blade / Sublime natural progression, because it kind of comes out with 2 quick swings of your Twin Swords, and then a 7-hit Wind Tornado comes out in front of you. It's pretty much instantaneous. Very low cooldown attack, but very strong. Very similar to Sandblade Whirlwind in function. I'm a fan of it. 7 hits, great. Aqua Needle Sublime is... It's not really Aqua Needle. It's more just like Aqua Lobbing. It's a 7... It's either a 6 or 7 hit combo. I can't remember the exact number of hits on it. It's very, very long range. I don't know if it pushes the enemy back or not, but it is a long range attack. And I wish all Sublimes were sellable, absolutely. Like if these Sublimes were tradable, I would probably pick mine up for like 200 or 300 OC and call it a day. But I wouldn't waste money on it. Not in a heartbeat. Not for mine. Aqua Needle Sublime is like, I think it's 6 or 7 hits. I think it's 6 hits at range, and it has it combos very, very, very well with Aqua Cannon Sublime or Water Cannon Sublime. They both have the exact same cooldown of 15 seconds, and they function really, really well. Problem with Aqua Needle Sublime is that its range far exceeds regular Aqua Needle. So if you're a bow player and you have like triple Aqua Needle on your bow, and then you use Aqua Needle Sublime, people kind of had the same problem with Water Cannon Sublime, because when you use it, Water Cannon Sublime pushes the enemy away out of the range of your Aqua Needle, so which makes the bow player approach. Any skill, in my opinion, that forces a ranged class to approach is not good enough. It defeats the whole purpose of your class, which is to stay away and do damage when you can. You don't want to push the target away and get closer. You want them to stay where they are, because when you use these attacks, it keeps the enemy out of range of your regular moves. And as far as I'm concerned, Aqua Needle 7 is stronger than Aqua Needle Sublime. Absolutely stronger. The skill force might be higher, but as we've seen with characters like Venus, Aqua Needle on the right build, on the right weapons, it out DPSs this move. The ability for you to use Aqua Needle 5, 6, and 7, or even 5, 5, 7, in quick, rapid succession, out DPSs this. As a bow player, I don't think it's necessary. I do not think it's necessary at all. Again, I would rather use Alsame Force. Personally, I'd rather use the Alsame Tornado. It's 10 hits. It's going to hit more. It's going to hit in a decent range that pairs well with Aqua Needle. I'm not a fan. Lastly, you have Kamaitachi Sublime for Wand. I think it's really good. It's basically just Kamaitachi, like, going crazy. Kamaitachi 7 normally shoots out, like, 2 or 3 Wind Blades. This one shoots out 7 Kamaitachi Wind Blades, and they push the enemy back. The only problem with it is that if you use it in the wrong location, like next to a wall or in front of like a bunch of enemies, it's not going to penetrate. It's not going to hit multiple targets. It only hits one target per Kamaitachi, and you could potentially fizzle it if you're by a wall and the target's out of range, because it will try to track. So there can be a skill issue with it when you use it in the improper range. I think it's still very strong. 7 hits of wind is very nice if you go Kamaitachi, Kamaitachi, Kamaitachi Sublime. The only problem is Kamaitachi 7 has like little to no cooldown, whereas this move has like twice the cooldown of it. So in the time that you could take for Kamaitachi Sublime to come back, you can use Kamaitachi 7 2-3 times. And SP is not usually a problem for Wand. So, like, I'm not a Wand player. I don't know their necessities towards their affinity towards this attack. But personally, for me, I think it's good, but I don't think it's necessary. And then you have Holy Breath Sublime for Staff. I think it's the best Sublime in the entire kit. This thing hits 20 times. You can use it, act out of it freely, do whatever else you want to do. You go Holy Breath, Judgment Cross, Holy Breath, Judgment Cross. Do it in tandem. Just keep going. You're going to get a hella high crit, a hella high hit count. Lots of damage multipliers going off, bonus damage, you name it. I think it's really, really good for staff players. And we all know staff players are carried by Sublimes nowadays, but this one's actually really good. If you don't have Judgment Cross, you can pair it with Holy Pillar Sublime, vice versa. Very, very strong Sublime. I wish Spear got this. I wish to God Spear got this. Spear, man. Like, we have one holy skill, and it's called Spirit Blast. We got Spirit Blast Geki, Spirit Blast Sublime. I wish we had Holy Breath Sublime. I wish we had this skill. It's probably the only time where I'm like, man, these Sublimes, like, I'm actually envious of this Sublime. Holy Breath, I wish Spears had it, because you can throw it out, block out of it. Like, staff players, when they block, they only block, like, a certain percent of it. Spear players, when they block 95% or 90% of incoming damage, if it's a blockable attack. Staff and Wand only block, like, 50 to 30% of incoming damage. So, like, on a staff, you could throw it out and then block right after, but you're not as defended as you would believe. But if you threw it out and then switched to Spear and blocked, you could throw it out and then block, and then have a Chiami equipped and land criticals, and you could, like, throw it out, perfectly safe on block. It's a big cloud that keeps perpetually doing damage, and it could heal you up to full while you're protected and safe. Like, that's nice. Or if there was, like, a Holy Ice weapon that were to come out, and you had this and Icicle Punishment, oh boy, that would be good. Like, with a Frozen Hell mag, essentially. Frozen Hell on something, Holy Breath, Icicle Punishment, you just throw a Holy Breath and just spam your punishment. It would work really, really well, I would say. Or even on a, well, no, this is a holy. I was going to suggest the Dark Fin, but that's a dark weapon. Anyway, I'm a big fan of Holy Breath. Personally, if you're going to go for these, I would probably suggest, it depends on your class, but if you're going to go for these, I would suggest maybe doing the 5 discount rolls, like, and see how it goes from there. because we know that Sublime young Coropons can either be very generous, or they can be like 8,000 OC, and you still don't get your shit. So they're very finicky. Like, you will generate your Rozus, but you can't use your Rozus to get Sublime, so it's hit or miss. Personally, if you were Sword, I would get it. If you were Twin, I would get it. If you were Bow and you don't have Water Cannon Sublime, I would get it. Maybe. Like, it all comes down to what you have and what you don't have for comparison. Like, a staff player that already has, like, Judgment Cross and Holy Pillar Sublime might not want Holy Breath Sublime, because they have so many holy skills already. Twin has 4 Wind Sublimes as well. They have, like, we just had Habihar Wind, we had Log Rumble Sublime, and they have Fujin Circle Dance Sublime, and now this one. Like, there's a lot of competition. Like, if you're already geared up, you might not need another one. You can only have so much wind. Axe and Odachi. Odachi does have Icicle Massacre Sublime, which is very, very good, and it would probably pair well with Icicle Moonlight if you don't have Icicle Punishment. They could find some use in that. Axe, this is Axe's second Ice Sublime. I hear they pair really well together. Freezing Ice Blade Sublime and Icicle Moonlight Sublime, they work well together. Especially if you don't have Icicle Punishment. Get it. If you do, then it's up to you. And Spear, again, if you have Boulder Breaker or you plan to get Boulder Breaker, I wouldn't get Upending Spear. I don't see the appeal of Spear having range that takes 3 seconds to come out and do its thing. Spear loves Boulder Breaker because it allows us to lunge in, close the gap, deal 10 hits of potentially damage cap, and then we're in range to use Stone Spire Barrier up close and hit all 45 ticks from the 3 skills damn near instantaneously. Spear doesn't want to be at range when using Mountain. It's desynergistic. It doesn't make any sense. Because you're going to use Upending Spear, and then you're going to use Boulder Breaker, and then you're going to close the gap, and then you have a long range move with a 2.5 second startup that you're using a point blank, and you're just going to eat shit. Like, it defeats the purpose, in my mind. Anyway, if you want it, go for it. But I will not get it. I'm not a fan. I saw what Momotaro had for his, Momotaro Azura has Earth Upending Spear 7, and it's this huge cone of 4 hits completely all around you. It's super good. Super good. And we get this little range thing that hits 5 times. It's miss me with that. I don't want it. 5-hit Sublimes are kind of dated at this point. Everything's coming out 7, 8, 9, 10 hits, and then, what's this? 5. 5 in 2023? I don't care. Range argument? I don't care. It doesn't hit in the air. Doesn't matter. It's not like Dullahan Hands. Dullahan Hands is no cooldown, no durability, 10 hits. And there's it's damn near instantaneous. Same thing with Clawson Blade. That's range, it hits 10 times. What is this? Anyway, it's Spear getting treated like every other class. That's what it is. So the quality of life changes. You're going to be able to favorite Vanguards in your Vanguard setting. They're going to make it so they're you see them in a grid more so than a list. And you can pretty much just choose... what Vanguards you want to have at the top of your list. So you can favorite, kind of pin to top. And the other quality of life thing we received is the game now tells you that if a challenge or an achievement is an event achievement or not. So all these event ones, can coincidentally in the event tab, all have an E on it. A green E, that means they're event achievements. And if you go to the daily challenges, you'll see, oh, there's event dailies and there's regular dailies. And that's pretty much how it goes. Same thing with weeklies or monthlies if we had event weeklies or monthlies. They're just all kept like that now. So Gakuhou Purg is here. Quality of life stuff's coming. Hopefully more quality of life stuff coming. I was talking to some people that play Oni. I don't really talk to them often, but they've been playing, for 5-7 years, as long as I have almost. And I was getting their opinions last night, and what they really, really wanted the most was quality of life changes, just things that make it easier. One of their good ideas they had was an item tracker, similarly to how we have a quest list on the right hand side of our screen. Mine's turned off because I don't need it. It's in the options, you can turn it off. And basically what they were suggesting was that we should be able to create our own quest in a sense. And basically what they would want is let's say you're farming embroidered cushions, and you had like an embroidered, let's say for this example, radiant spines. You want to farm radiant spines for your Tiamat weapons, and then you'd be able to click on it and be like, there'd be an option somewhere down here that would say track item, and then what it would do is like put an item tracker either up here or somewhere on the right, anywhere on the screen that makes sense, and it would just say like item tracker, and it would just show you how many you had. So you would put in like, you know, let's say we need like 80, so it would just have this constant ticker on the screen that says you currently have 2, you need 80, and then it would just keep track of it, which would be really, really good for islands and just monotonous farming, like spider OBs, or even your emeralds when you're running Purg. Like, you want to keep track of it, you don't want to look at the drops, you just want to see your total number. I think that would be a really, really good addition if we had like an item tracker. It'd be nice. It'd be very nice, actually. But hopefully more things like that. Like, hopefully more quality of life stuff does go like that. Party Recruit does that for dungeons? Does it? Party Recruit? Oh, yeah. If people select a dungeon for the party, it'll give you an arrow to show where the dungeon is. Yeah. We don't use that feature very often because we know what things are. But yeah, that's very much akin to what it is. Yeah. Yeah, but it'd be nice to be able to track items, or even track a recipe. Like, whether you want to track one drop or put a whole recipe on the right side of your screen and treat it like a quest, like, because quests give you like whole lists of things you have to collect, etc., etc. So yeah, hopefully more quality of life things come about. I wouldn't mind having something that's like I wouldn't mind having a notification that tells me, hey, you can trade in more Daruma points or something. Like, I wouldn't mind that. What is Satan Ignis weak to? Nothing. Satan Ignis has no general weakness. He resists pretty much everything equally, except for, I want to say, Holy or Mountain. But Satan has no weakness. His weakness is multi-hit, but you just basically hit him with your strongest thing. That's all you do. Satan Ignis has no bona fide weakness that is grandstandingly effective. You just hit him with what you can. People say like he takes really good damage from mounts because it's non-elemental damage. That's true. Yeah, wind works. I use Battle Maiden Shizuka. Honda works very, very well with her non-elemental damage caps. People can use Keiji as well. Pretty much the strat to beating Satan Ignis is you put him in the corner, keep him there, and have the rest of your party just beat the shit out of him. Yeah, so non-element, mount damage, just really strong element, having a shit ton of attack. That's pretty much what's going to work on Satan Ignis. We pretty much just use Honda for it. Honda, Battle Maiden Shizuka. Like, if someone can hold his aggro, Battle Maiden Shizuka will just pop him like 80 mils in the back. Very much so. So, on that note, chocolates are going to be here for the next 2 weeks. Because we get 2 weeks for Purg, so not this Thursday, but next Thursday. The event will end, and we'll get a new event. We don't know what it is yet. We're kind of thinking it's going to be an event of substance, because it'll be like mid-March, early April, so a spring event. Well, no, there's actually a lot of characters that have non-elemental damage. Honda has non-elemental damage, Genbu has non-elemental damage, Toshi has non-elemental damage, and Ho-Oh has non-elemental damage with Piercing Seal. But Toshi also has a non-elemental skill, Genbu can turn all of her impact into non-element, and Honda's cannons, when they fire, are considered non-element, among others that I may not be aware of, but it's not just Ho-Oh that is non-elemental. Yeah. Yeah, Genbu has it really, really good. I can show you down here. I don't know if it's part of the swimsuit or not that gives it to her, but she does have access to non-element. It might have been the swimsuit, though. I believe the skill is called Glimmering Aura. It's either Glimmering Aura or Dream Residue, one of the two. What's Dream Residue? Yeah, there it is. So Dream Residue. Using spiritual power, strengthen yourself for 30 seconds. Buff effects. Changes impact element damage to non-elemental damage. It increases your attack by 50%, and it gives you 3 hits of Aegis. So it'll ignore the first 3 hits done against you. Your attack goes up by 50%, and your impact changes into non-element. So when you use that in conjunction with like Almighty Splash, which is the swimsuit skill, which is impact and rain, it's like, I think it's like 7 hits of just water and non-element, and it's really, really strong. 4,000 skill force. It actually like does a shit ton of damage. It usually caps when you start using it on enemies weak to rain, and the non-element's just unresisted and just very, very good. I'm not sure how many of her skills are impact, though. I think all of them. So when you do use that buff, it does change everything to non-element plus dark or non-element plus rain. So, yeah. Like Dream Residue is good shit.